Alright, so this is a set it free Sunday situation that I've been waiting to do for a long time. So I scored myself the final boss of these Mercedes trucks. I've been trying to collect all of them. I still have a few, by the way, that I'm missing. There's a fire truck and some other odds and ends, but most of my favorite ones that I've seen on eBay I have already bought. There's one that's extremely rare that I picked up, and I don't even want to say how much I paid for this thing. It was way too much, but it is from a very specific German museum. It was a low production souvenir that they made for a museum, the Technik Museum in Speyer, Germany. And so it's impossible to find. They didn't make too many of these, I don't think. I don't see them almost ever on eBay. I've looked around, I've tried to find them cheap, and they're just... The guy who had this, unfortunately, knew what he had, and he passed a lot of money, and we kind of met in the middle, right smack dab at 90% of what he was asking, so it is what it is. But anyway, so real quick recap here, if you're new to my channel. My grandfather was born in 1910. My father's father, back in Slovakia, had sold off his Clydesdales and bought a truck almost exactly like this to deliver fruits and vegetables from all our local little small towns in our area over to the cities. And he had essentially a shipping company for produce. And that's what he did his whole life, except it was very difficult to do later on. It started off with the Clydesdales, then he had the truck. He was doing fantastic. Built a beautiful house and everything else, which my family actually still owns to this day. But in the meantime, the Red Army, in their push to... In their rush to push the Germans back towards Germany, in the later stages of World War II in 44, 45, they came through Slovakia, especially like spring of 45, and they, at gunpoint, stole my grandfather's truck. He had no connection to the war, to Germany, or anything. He just happened to own a Mercedes truck, and I think maybe they took that personal. Because it was a Mercedes, they just... Again, unfortunately, that happened quite a bit. If you read a history book, the things are not as black and white as, a history teacher will make them out to be. A lot of nuance there, a lot of bad guys on both sides. Things done for the wrong reasons. Some good stuff done not for the best of reasons, or just by happenstance. Things setting themselves right. It just is what it is, but... Anyway, I've always had a fascination with Mercedes for that reason. I've owned several of them, including my little dirty, dusty diesel over here. It's the 12th or 13th Mercedes I've ever owned, I forget. Something like that. It's the 5th diesel, I know that much, and the 4th turbo diesel. But anyway, let's open these up. There's two other variants that I want to add to this pile, and I'm yapping too much over here, so let's get going. I love the way Matchbox does these. So if you look on the write-ups and all the detail that you get, whichever one is just fantastic. Look at this. It talks about the Henninger Brewery, how it dates back to 1665, exported to more than 50 countries. I mean, it's great. I love it. Then with most of these, once you go to take it off of its base, it's screwed down nice and tight. It has this protective roof over it, so the box can't compress and crush the model, damage it. I love it. Let's go get a screwdriver. Just like all BMWs. I don't know about the new ones, but every BMW I've ever owned comes with that little toolkit back here, which I love. Anyway, it's pretty awesome. I've always liked that. I think it's a nice touch. Alright, so here we are. This is yet another variation. It's similar to this guy in terms of the stake bed with a sort of roof on the back, and you've got the canvas roof is pulled back somewhat. But unlike this one, which doesn't have anything in the back, this one actually includes some barrels, which is awesome. They've glued down a couple of barrels back there, and I love it. I love the white and red. It's a very nice addition to this series of trucks. So now we've got 6 lined up here, and number 7 is the one I'm about to open. Again, like I talked about earlier from the museum. This one is not packaged as nicely. And also, by the way, as soon as I got it and I noticed that there's a variation with the yellow cab, now I'm going to be after that one. So, oh boy. I don't have a problem. I can stop whenever I want. But yeah, how awesome is this thing? So, my favorite one is still the one with all the produce in the back of it, for obvious reasons. But I absolutely love that I have the I have a blue variation with some yellow on there. It breaks up the rest of them really nicely. I think it's wonderful. So there you go. Look at these things. Love them. I will continue to collect these. Like I said, there's some more out there that I don't have. They're kind of oddballs. They're not commercial vehicles so much as they're fire trucks and trucks that have... There's one that has gigantic spotlights on it. I'm going to say that's related to the war, I would imagine. But yeah, these things are awesome. Love them.